Hey guys, I got that fermented pork again. I'm deficient in trichinosis, so this is how I'm healing that. I want the darkest piece because it's the most fermented.
Well, here we go, folks. Today, I have a pretty crazy video for you. We're going to be looking at somebody who's a little bit untraditional considering all the other locals we looked at on this channel, but I still feel like they're worth looking at. There's somebody who considers themselves an alpha male and does a lot of stuff because of their health, I guess, because they're health conscious. But if you actually look at what they're doing, it's pretty counteractive to that goal. It doesn't help out their health at all. Some similar people I've seen had videos made on them in the past is like Liver King, you know, the most popular one, and then this dude Butter Dog. And basically, to sum up what they do is that they try to act like macho and tough while they eat these raw meats. And they claim that these raw meats or this quote unquote primal diet is what contributes to how healthy they are. When in reality, a lot of them are either taking steroids and, you know, doing a bunch of different like drugs, or they don't look healthy at all. They look completely unhealthy, you know what I mean? They look just like normal people, or if anything, worse than how a normal person would look. They have a bunch of health ailments like parasites and, you know, different issues that come with eating raw meat. But this dude takes it a step further. He doesn't just eat raw meat. He ferments that shit for weeks at a time and then eats various different raw fermented meats and claims that they have different kind of health benefits. And he got all these ideas from some stupid like pseudoscientific dude who's wrote a few books. This dude's name is Ogenus, and he's like one of these dudes that all these primal guys look towards when, you know, pointing to the fact that their diet is actually real. I don't know why. I've never read any of his stuff, and I really don't want to, because anybody with common sense could tell you that you're not supposed to eat raw meat, right? Like, that's not something I need some dude, some like random dude to tell me. I can figure it out. But the history behind this dude is like pretty wild. If you look him up on Wikipedia, he was involved in a bunch of crazy shit. He's definitely not a good dude. And to sum up his career, it was basically just trying to make a bunch of legal loopholes so that way people can eat shit that is meant to kill you, basically, right? Like raw meats and raw milk. And I don't really know what to think about that. I guess everybody should have the freedom to do what they want, but at the same time, you know, then you have people that are dumb enough to spread the rumor that this shit is actually healthy. And then you get tons of people who are eating raw meat or drinking raw milk, and then you have an issue. So that's probably why people aren't allowed to do it, because you have people like this who are glorifying it and promoting it. Come on, dude. You obviously shouldn't be eating raw meat and raw milk. That's why you're not allowed to. That's why you're not supposed to normally, right? But then dudes like this come around and they change different state laws and they do different shit, right, in legislation to get it so that they could basically harm themselves by eating raw meat and then claim that it's healthy to everybody else to sell their books or their courses. I could honestly play clips of him explaining that all, but it's pretty boring and he takes forever, you know, like sniffing his own ass and trying to make it seem like what he knows is more than everybody else. Basically, like he has this untapped knowledge that nobody else has, when in reality, he's just doing something stupid. That's why nobody else does it. Nobody else is eating raw meat, especially rotted raw meat, because it's unhealthy. It's pretty clear it's unhealthy. It smells bad for a reason, bro. You're not supposed to eat that shit. So let's just jump right into the videos of him eating raw meat, because that's why everybody clicked on this video, right? You guys want to see this dude stuff his face with straight raw chicken and raw pork. So let's get into it.
Fermented liver, about 2 weeks old, fermenting at room temperature. Oh, it's pretty sour, but it's actually really nice. Yeah, it's really good. So you ferment the meat, it grows the bacteria. The bacteria makes you high. It's called high meat. This is Amish pork. It's been fermenting for about 2 weeks. I'm gonna have a spoonful because I want to get lots of E. coli for my health. Okay? Ugh.
Done. Are you gonna?
Hey guys, I got that fermented pork again. I'm deficient in trichinosis, so this is how I'm healing that. I want the darkest piece because it's the most fermented. And if you're worried about the parasites, trichinosis, you say that pigs have parasites. The thing is, humans have parasites too. We're both supposed to have them naturally. If you don't have them, then you're unhealthy. So I just had the fermented liver, feel pretty good. I waited 15 minutes and now I'm going to have some more fermented pork. So it's, I don't know, 3.5 weeks old now, I guess. I think there's too much fat in this pork because it's not fermenting like the way I'd like it to. Like, it's supposed to reek and stink like super bad and like burn your mouth. But this stuff, like, I don't think it's gonna burn my mouth. Like, ugh, fuck. It's definitely disgusting, but it doesn't burn my mouth. It's supposed to burn your mouth like liquor. And that's what I'm going for. I want it to like be so strong it burns my nose and burns my mouth. But it's not like that. I think there's too much fat in it. I don't know. Sometimes it just ferments differently than other times, and I can't figure out why.
I mean, you can tell this dude doesn't even like it when he eats it. He says that it's sour. He makes this crazy ass face. Like, this dude definitely isn't enjoying the shit that he's eating. He's just forcing himself to eat it because he's seen people like Liver King do it and he thinks it's actually gonna make him like buff or something like that. Like, all of a sudden he's gonna get ripped because he's eating rotten raw meat. It's insane to be that desperate. If you really want to work out, go work out, but don't start eating raw meat. And don't start, fermenting meat in jars and doing weird shit like that. You don't need to go that far. That isn't helping you at all. It isn't making you any healthier. Like, look at this dude. I'm not trying to say he looks bad or anything, right? But he looks normal. He's got a little bit of chub going, you know what I mean? So obviously eating all this raw meat isn't really working out for his diet. But not only does this dude claim that it's for health benefits, he also claims that it's to get high. I've never heard of this before. I didn't know you can eat rotted meats to get high, but that's what this dude does. He ferments it in jars, and then he has like these special meats that he calls his high meats that are like supposed to get him high or whatever. It's stupid as fuck. Like, if you didn't actually see this dude eating the meats on camera, you would think that this was completely fake, right? But there's literally videos of him opening up the jars and listening to the pop of, the fermentation from the meat just sitting there in these jars for weeks on end. I mean, there's so many flaws in this dude's logic. If you look in the comments, there's a bunch of people trying to point out that the shit that he says is stupid and doesn't make sense. But every time he just replies with 2 words and he says fake science. Here's a few of his best videos where he's, giving his explanations on why he does stuff and trying to give some kind of like scientific basis for the shit that he says. And he also tries to give advice to like Darius. If you don't know who Darius is, it's this person on Instagram that has gone viral. They have autism and sometimes they stim and their stims have gone viral. So he tries to say that Darius could cure his autism in a couple years by doing his fermented meat diet.
You know the autistic guy, Darius, the one who's like, ew, ew. So with the primal diet, you can actually heal autism. Like, with his condition, he could be talking and functioning normally in about 3 years if he followed the moldy raspberry protocol. So if there's any way we could convince his mom about the primal diet and get him to do the diet properly, it can heal. There's been conditions like his that have fully healed in about 3 years. If you don't do the moldy berries, it takes 7 years. So like, You know, that would be pretty amazing testimonial if we got him on the diet. There is no such thing as an immune system. The idea of the immune system has been taught to you to perpetrate germ theory, that the body has immunity to microbes. The body utilizes microbes to clean the system. When they are found, they are not causing the problem, but they are removing it. If you remove the microbes, the detox may temporarily pause and your symptoms may be alleviated, but the toxins deep in the body are not going to be removed. I'm not trying to lower my bacteria. I'm not trying to get rid of virus, parasite, or fungus. I'm not even trying to remove inflammation. Inflammation is the body healing itself. This most foundational principle, everybody fails to understand. And due to this, we attack our bodies. We process our foods. We clean our homes of microbes, all the idea that we think that this invisible thing is going to cause all of our problems and that we need to get rid of it. No, every primitive human with perfect health naturally has trichinosis in their intestines. Every healthy pig has trichinosis in their intestines. Is a pig an unhealthy animal because it has parasites? No, humans are supposed to have them too. If you don't have it, it's a problem. When I made the video eating the fermented pork and people are talking about botulism and all this bacteria, and I replied that it's fake science, well, what I'm referring to is all this is perpetrating the idea of germ theory. All of you guys are telling me that I'm gonna be getting sick when I've been eating this for years. If you are the supposed experts because you've heard of some mainstream science, well, why am I not sick then? Because I'm somehow special? I used to convince random people off Snapchat to eat high meat. People who have never heard of the primal diet, and people don't get sick. If they eat it twice in the same week and they're not used to it, they may get a little bit of a cold. Because when you introduce that concentration of bacteria, it starts dissolving toxins. And that's what a cold is. That's what a flu is. And the reason the pharmaceutical industry wants to perpetrate the idea of germ theory is because they want you to live in fear, think that the things are healthy or unhealthy. That way you run to the pharmaceutical profession, get your antibiotics, and you process all of your food. And then you comment on people's videos like mine because you're like Agent Smith in the Matrix, defending the Matrix, the prison you don't even know you live in. And then you're gonna think that I'm the fool, when in reality, you're the fool. I'm going to share with you a high meat testimonial. High meat is where you purposely ferment fresh, never frozen meat in a jar, cut up into small pieces, and you open it outside every day until it starts turning black and decomposing into liquid and burns your mouth like liquor. So when I don't have high meat for a long time and I eat it, it's like, oh my God, how the fuck could I ever let myself run out of this? Because it makes me feel so good. It's like, oh my God, like just one spoonful of this meat makes me feel so much better. It's like, damn, I need to stop running out of this because it's instantly life-changing. I tried to quit smoking weed for years and it was like such a struggle and I was so desperate and could not quit. And so I started eating high meat every day and it completely turned my life around, made me feel so much better. I've given it to over 25 friends. And almost everybody has significant effects on it. Some people are indifferent to it. No positive, no negative. But for the most part, people tell me everything they eat for the next week or two digests much more easily because they got a ridiculous concentration of bacteria for their digestion. The ultimate probiotic is what we are made out of. We are made out of meat. You think you need some fucking vegetable bacteria and sauerkraut? We're not a fucking plant. That's not what our gut needs. You ferment some beef. We are made out of meat. And that's the ultimate probiotic. And these people, it's like they instantly get motivated. They get inspired to start being better because it feeds the brain like nothing else. So your brain actually starts working to where you can actually like think clearly.
To me, it just sounds like this dude's manic. He sits here and tries to say that it's making him think clearer, but in reality, it sounds like you're just a crazy individual. Nobody who's sane is going to be eating rotted meat, right? So come on, dude. There's got to be something wrong with you mentally if you're doing that day after day. I wouldn't be listening to this guy. Who is listening to this guy, right? You probably shouldn't be because he's just an insane individual. Some of you guys might not understand like the severity of what he said in that first clip about Darius, but let me explain something to you. Darius is like a very beloved internet figure at the moment because he's not problematic at all. He's just an autistic individual who stims a lot. And the stims have gone viral. His mom is there with him. She takes care of him. She records the videos and they sort of have this joint Instagram account. So there's literally nothing problematic going on there, and people tend to support Darius. Like, the people that hate him usually have no other reason to hate him besides just being dicks, right? That's it. Like, just being douchebags on the internet. So this dude is sitting here trying to say that he can heal him with raw meat. He begins the video by making fun of his stimming, first of all, and then he says that he can heal his autism by feeding him rotten meat. It's obviously something that you shouldn't be saying. It's super demeaning, and it's just rude. Like, overall, it's just rude and ignorant to say some shit like that, right? You have no idea what you're talking about. That's not going to cure autism, and it's stupid that you would stoop to the level of using his name for clout so that you can say, you know, you have the secret to healing him and people should reach out to his mom for you. No, dude, you shouldn't be feeding autistic people rotten meat. You're crazy. The fact that you haven't died yet shouldn't be proof that this is healthy or that this is something that people should be doing. The human body is resilient. So, of course, you're not going to die instantly, right? It's going to be a process over time. Eventually, if you keep eating rotten meat, something's going to get you, whether that be a parasite or some other health ailment, right? Eventually, something big is going to get you, and that's going to be the thing that kills you. Like, the process is taking place right now. It's not going to be this one-time thing, right? Sometimes it might be. You're basically playing Russian roulette, but you've got lucky so far because the human body is resilient. So, you know, you're kind of just sitting there with whatever parasite you've got right now until eventually something gets you. And surprisingly, now this dude has like a girlfriend, and she's weird too. So like, it's not like it's a flex or anything, right? He sits there and feeds her raw meat, and now she's became a part of his like whole internet persona. So they sit together and they eat raw meat, and it's supposed to be like some romantic kind of thing, when in reality it's disgusting. It's just two hippies eating fermented raw meat together.
Hello. I love all of you. And here I am in Florida, just visiting Scott for a little bit. And we are downing some tomatoes, and soon after, some raw meat, just down the hatch, just like that. Alrighty, well, enjoy this video.
You like it better with the ingredients versus plain?
Oh yeah, it's much better with the avocado and the
tomato and
onion. Yep. Hello, loves. This is pastured chicken, tomatoes, onion, avocado, and juice of half a lemon. Very yummy. This is my first meat meal in like 2 days because I was nauseous and bedridden the day after eating like 19 oysters. That is from detox, not food poisoning. Alrighty, I love y'all. But it's only, you see, it's only rotting over there. It's only rotting on the top.
Open it for the camera.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, is this gonna explode? I can't open this. Ooh.
Smell it.
Oh my gosh. That smells like a sweet teriyaki sauce is what that smells like. That smells delicious, actually.
See, the new ones are popping.
Let me smell.
It's not gonna smell like anything yet. Okay, you wanna open this?
Let's see. That one is potent. What about like shaking the jar to get more? This is how I did mine.
Oh, be careful. Be careful.
I know.
It's about to fall out.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Hey, let me see it. It's good. It's good. Okay, I want to put it back.
I'm not gonna. It's not gonna fall.
Make sure you get all of it.
Bunch of flies. I just swallow it?
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Did it work?
It either that or placebo, but yes, I'm
Yeah.
happy now. Yeah.
Feeling better?
Mm-hmm. How is it?
Ugh. You gotta swallow it, stick out your tongue for the camera.
I'm still working on it.
You just gotta force it down. Your swallow muscles.
Nasty, but so good.
Honestly, that shit proves that anybody can find love, because look at the shit that this woman is able to go through to prove that she agrees with this guy's philosophies, right? Did you see that black tar that she drank from the bottom of that fermented meat? That's disgusting, dude. She's able to go those lengths for her boyfriend, right? It's wild. I guess that's what true love is, apparently, eating rotten meat for your loved one. But in all actuality, this has to be coming out of desperation from both of them. They're both crazy individuals. They're both, you know, pseudoscience believing hippies, right? So they have to find somebody who they connect with, and just goes to show that there's somebody out there for everyone. You guys know what they say. Every Joker needs his Harley Quinn, and this dude is definitely the fucking Joker, the way that he's just eating rotten meat, you know what I mean? I don't even think the Joker would do some shit like that, man. Completely insane individual. But that's enough of that. Let's move on to some of his recipes. I just wanted to end this video off with looking at his process of not only fermenting raw meat, but also eating it. Some of the recipes that he makes and how he jars and ferments his meat.
I'm taking this raw meat, cutting it into small pieces, filling jars halfway, sticking it in my cooler in the back of my van, and opening it every day until it stinks like dead animal a half mile down the street. That's called high meat. Okay, I made a batch of high meat last week and it wouldn't ferment. It was just growing mold and it wasn't even getting sticky. I'm like, what the fuck? It's not even like getting black. So I was like, okay, maybe the outside of the meat I got had chemicals. So this time I'm cutting off the outside layer of the meat just in case there's chemicals, and I'm going to eat that fresh later. And then I'm going to be taking meat from the middle, so I can guarantee there's no chemicals. And so look, the meat has to be fresh, never frozen. You want it to be grass-fed if you're fermenting it. You cut it into small pieces because you want a large surface area for the bacteria to grow. You only fill the jars halfway up because you need air for the bacteria to grow on the meat. And the jars have to be well rinsed because when they come, they have chemicals in it. If there's chemicals in the jar, chemicals in the meat, it will not ferment and it'll actually give you food poisoning and make you super sick. Food poisoning, it's not from the bacteria, it's from the mutation caused by cooking or chemical exposure. So you store the jar somewhere dark, not where there's light, because then it's going to dry. And you want it to get juicy and ferment until it turns into this black liquid that burns your nose and fucking, it's like liquor. And you can smell it a half mile down the street and it makes you gag. That's how you know it's good, okay? So this is going to be very nice. Hopefully it actually ferments this time. It makes you high and happy because it feeds the brain like nothing else. And it's fucking amazing. These are my raw, fresh, never frozen meat jars that I'm opening every day to ferment until it smells like dead animal and you can smell it half a mile down the street. That's how you know when it's ready. It's getting black. It smells super good. And so look, I have this third jar. The second one, the first, second are good. The third jar and the other ones, they're growing mold. They're not turning black and they're not getting stinky. So I'm like, okay, maybe the meat I had chemicals on it. I don't understand why, because the other meat that's good was from the same place. And I cleaned the jars very well. So this next batch, I only take the meat from the middle to see if it works better.
It's the same tomato sauce, but this time it's too liquidy.
I think I'm gonna start sucking the juice out of the tomato again like I used to, or just maybe suck out half of it. I guess it was just the tomato this time. The sauce is still good, but I'm starting to get a little bit bored of it. I think I need to put a hot pepper in it. That'd make it nice. And the thing is, really, like, not having butter is a big deal. The raw, never frozen, no salt butter is extremely important to be satisfied. The meat fat does not satisfy. Even drinking cream on the side, like, you can't mix cream with meat, but like later in the day, it's still not enough. Like, if you like say you can't get butter, but you can get milk, you have to fucking make the butter. It's extremely important. Like, I cannot be satisfied with that. I'm just hungry all day, and like she's like getting like issues for not having enough fat too. So it's like you need to have the butter. It's extremely important. Today I'm making a raw chicken recipe. No, I'm not scared of salmonella. That shit doesn't really exist. It doesn't really actually make you sick. That's undercooked meat, or meat that's been exposed to chemicals, meat that's made inside other processed recipes. You buy chicken from the store and you eat it, you're fine. As long as it's not fucking stinking in the plastic package, you're fine. So I get this meat from Sprouts, pasture raised, fresh. You can get it from Whole Foods. They have pasture raised, but I don't think it's as good. And that's some beef fat trimmings. I got that for free from the butcher. It's grass fed. I don't have any fat to have with it. You have to have fat with your meat always. I'm out of butter. It doesn't come in until tomorrow. So I add that in there. I pate that, mix it all together. I pate all the meat now. You know, I've been doing it on and off for a while, but really, you should always be doing it. It digests much more easily when you pate it because your body doesn't have to secrete hydrochloric acid to break it down anymore. It's already broken down. So you actually have more energy and it's easier to eat more of it without being so full. Then I mix this recipe. I made the sauce in my previous video, and that is absolutely delicious. And then I enjoy my meal. And like I said recently, you should be having a mix of chicken and beef, not just straight beef.
So with that being said, folks, that's the end of this video. This dude's basically just like the same variation of these health nut, primal, you know, these crazy individuals that decide that they want to eat raw meat. You know, they want to do this crazy diet when in actuality it doesn't work. They seen Liver King do it and now they want to do it. But this guy takes it a step further. That's why I felt like it was pretty interesting to cover him, right? Because he takes this a step further, and instead of just eating raw meat, he actually ferments that shit and then eats rotted raw meat. It's pretty wild. Not only does he do it, but you know, he also has this little gaggle of friends that go along with them and decide they want to eat this shit. And then he even brought his girlfriend along and he forces her to eat it to like cure her depression. And you've seen in a few of those videos, she seems pretty skeptical, but she just continues to go through with it. Like in one, she even says that it might be placebo. And then in another, she says that it's completely disgusting and then quickly says, but you know, it's good. So this dude is just like, if you took Liver King and then mixed them with some kind of crazy horror cow like Pow Envy or something like that, or like Piss Air, right? Some crazy disgusting horror cow. If you mix them together, you get this dude right here. But all things considered, that's the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All that helps out in the algorithm. If you watched all the way to the end, you're the best. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.